So this is like that thing. What is it? Find Freddy or something, where you try to
Find Wally.
Wally, that's it.
Where's Wally?
Where's the Wally?
Right. Right. I'm with Wally.
So we're here in Central Park.
Yeah, New York.
Yeah. I think you say Central Park, most people presume is New York.
Oh.
And it's early in the morning. What time is it? 8:30.
8:30.
We've been out since what? About 6:30?
Yeah.
A couple hours.
Like you do.
Like you do. Chanting, roaming, took a boat.
Yeah, we did.
Then we walked to Central Park. Now we're here to read.
Yeah.
You see, it's a busy place. A lot of unleashed dogs.
Yeah.
And unhinged people.
Good combo.
A good combination. And I hope no dog runs up there and eats our camera. Okay, so we're going to read now. So we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam. Where are we?
Canto 4, chapter 17, text 25.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Right, text 25. Now with the help of my arrows, I shall cut you to pieces, and with your flesh satisfy the hunger-stricken citizens.
Well, that's controversial.
Who are now crying for want of grains. Thus I shall satisfy the crying citizens of my kingdom.
God bless you.
Purport. Here we find some indication of how the government can arrange for the eating of flesh, of cow flesh. It is here indicated that in a rare circumstance, when there is no supply of grains, the government may sanction the eating of meat. However, when there is sufficient food, the government should not allow the eating of cow's flesh just to satisfy the fastidious tongue. In other words, in rare circumstances, when people are suffering for want of grains, meat eating or flesh eating can be allowed, but not otherwise. The maintenance of slaughterhouses for the satisfaction of the tongue and the killing of animals unnecessarily should never be sanctioned by a government. It's interesting. As I was reading that, I was thinking how I just don't have a taste for meat in that. I was thinking, gross, I hope it would never get to that, where the only thing available and was justified was meat. I mean, it's all dressed up nicely these days in chicken nuggets and whatever. I don't know. But yeah, I was thinking, yeah, it's interesting anyway. I was just thinking, it just doesn't appeal.
Yeah, I was on the plane coming back, and they always offer, the standard thing is like vegetarian or some meat. And I was just thinking, God, everyone must be taking vegetarian, but it was, amazing how many people were taking the meat option. So it's still quite an accepted thing, although I agree, I don't really have much taste for it. But it's interesting, and it reminded me of the time Prabhupada asked Hare Krishna Maharaj to go and preach in Russia. And he said, well, what will I eat, Prabhupada? And he said, eat meat if you have to, but preach. So,
Powerful.
Yeah, the point is that it's like, sometimes we can get caught up in the rules and regulations, but it's actually all just simply to support our Krishna consciousness or the spreading of Krishna consciousness to others. And if circumstances change, then the rules and regulations are not the masters, they're the servants. And that's not something that's easy to get. But yeah, the rules are the servants, not the masters. Okay, rest of the purport. As described in the previous verse, cows and other animals should be given sufficient grass to eat. If despite a sufficient supply of grass, a cow does not supply milk, And if there is an acute shortage of food, the dried up cow may be utilized to feed the hungry masses. Excuse me, masses of people. According to the law of necessity, first of all, human society must try to produce food, grains, and vegetables. But if they fail in this, they can indulge in flesh eating. Otherwise not. As human society is presently structured, there is sufficient production of grains all over the world. Therefore, the opening of slaughterhouses cannot be supported. In some nations, there is so much surplus grain that sometimes extra grain is thrown into the sea, and sometimes the government forbids further production of grain. That's what I was talking about yesterday. That's what they do in America. The conclusion is that the earth produces sufficient grain to feed the entire population, but the distribution of this grain is restricted due to trade regulations and a desire for profit. So there you go. Consequently, in some places there is a scarcity of grain, and in others profuse production. If there were one government on the surface of the earth to handle the distribution of grain, there would be no question of scarcity, no necessity to open slaughterhouses, and no need to present false theories about overpopulation. Prabhupada just like slam-a-rammers it there. He hits it nail right on the head that actually no one on this planet needs to go hungry. There is so much opportunity for the production of food, and we could be supplying enormous amounts of food to people who are starving in this country and that country, and from their countries we probably take something else, and and it could just be such a situation that actually, and Prabhupada mentions, if there was one government overseeing the entire planet, then all these things could be taken care of. But everybody's more concerned about making as much money as they can.
And self-interest, each country has self-interest.
Yeah, total self-interest. And if imagine if people were busy, not being self-interested, then they could raise their anyway, I'm getting distracted now. Basically, if people weren't so... If
yes, you are. You're rambling.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah, not at all, not at all.
have a good one.
Hello, you too. So if that's why I was distracted, because I knew that guy spotted the camera and he was
And
looking
this little
around.
dog. It's rat dog. Look at it.
Oliver cookies.
Anyway, the point is that actually people wouldn't need to be worried about making enough money to live near Central Park in New York City, which will cost a small fortune, especially if we were taking care of everyone, because then everyone could live wherever they wanted to live, and it could be opulent and decent wherever. I hope that dog don't pee on the camera.
Yeah.
So funny, isn't it? It's like nobody here when we first sat down. Now it's like the whole planet. Now you're going to get a shot of the dog doing his business.
Oh, we're sorry.
Yeah, sorry about that. Okay, so you want to read? 26, I think.
Any cruel person, be he a man, woman, or impotent eunuch, who's only interested in his personal maintenance and has no compassion for other living entities, may be killed by the king. Such killing can never be considered actual killing. That dog actually did a doo-doo. We're really sorry, because for them there would have been close-up shot of that. Oh my God.
Picking it up.
Lord.
Okay.
Well, alright, let me just read that.
Getting the full experience this morning.
Any cruel person, be he a man, woman, or impotent eunuch, who is only interested in his personal maintenance and has no compassion for other living entities, may be killed by the king. Jesus. Such killing can never be considered actual killing. Can you imagine if people took this literally now, all the dictators and whatnot?
No, but this is the way it was
that.
in the times of, when you were into all the royal family and stuff, right?
Yeah, but now it would be abused, That dog's going straight there. It's like the dogs notice it. Oh my God. There's going to be a dog peeing on our thing. It's like it looked at us like, hey, But we're just keeping an eye because it's a dog that might do a little pee on us.
Lord, I'm going to hang it up on the tree next time. All right. So people could just misuse it. Yeah, go ahead. God, what a
The
distracted
planet
reader.
Earth is actually a woman in her constitutional form, and as such she needs to be protected by the king. Prithu Maharaj argues, however, that if a citizen within the state, be he man, woman or eunuch, is not compassionate upon his fellow men, he or she may be killed by the king, and such killing is never to be considered actual killing. As far as the field of spiritual activities is concerned, when a devotee is self-satisfied and does not preach the glories of Krishna, he is not considered a first-class devotee. A devotee who tries to preach, who has compassion upon innocent persons who have no knowledge of Krishna, is a superior devotee. In his prayer to the Lord, Prahlad Maharaj said that he was not personally interested in liberation from this material world. Rather, he did not wish to be liberated from this material condition until all fallen souls were delivered. Even in the material field, if a person is not interested in others' welfare, he should be considered to be condemned by the personality of Godhead or his incarnation, like Prithu Maharaj. That's quite heavy, isn't it? Because what if you just live a simple life and just follow the rules and just like no harm to anyone and get on with life? If you're not, does it mean if you're not reaching out to people and being compassionate that you're not a good person? You can be killed.
I mean, that's maybe taking it to an extreme, but the principle of what I understood is that, yes, Prabhupada says first-class devotee. So if you go and live a simple life, just off on your own, doing your own thing, but being Krishna conscious and being self-satisfied, then you're still a devotee. But you're not first-class devotee. Prahlad Maharaj is the example.
The dogs notice the camera. It's so interesting. Look.
He's going after the bird.
Really?
Yeah, that bird was up there.
Okay, sorry.
So, hey Rod, hey, how
This is the most distracting reading we've done.
Yeah.
And it was
so
actually
peaceful and quiet
no
here.
one
Like
here. Every
literally.
time, wherever we go, it's like it just.
So, point being that you can still be a devotee, you're just not first-class devotee like Prahlad Maharaj. But Prabhupada is saying basically, yeah, like you were saying, kind of, that if a person is not interested in other people's welfare, so it means that the cultivation of mercy and compassion is crucial for us to also give to others. But, it doesn't mean necessarily that you have to be going out, I guess, on like Harinam every day or book distribution or something like that. But you could be distributing prasadam, inviting people around for programs. You're just giving Krishna to others, That's what I would say. I think the point is that you still have concern and welfare for other people. But Prabhupada also just... Yeah, I mean, one could extrapolate that concern for another's welfare is more concern about their Krishna consciousness and their spiritual life rather than the material life, but still compassion is compassion in one sense. And I think we read before, Prabhupada was talking about even just having concern for other people, in general. The mass,
being kind.
the mass of living entities. Excuse me. So let's see, I think we started at 32. Yes, we could probably read one more. Text 27. See if we can get through this one without distractions. You're very much puffed up, this is text 27, you're very much puffed up with pride and have become almost insane. Presently you have assumed the form of a cow by your mystic powers. Nonetheless, I shall cut you into small pieces like grain, and I will uphold the entire population by my personal mystic powers. Yeah, he's definitely, I mean, it's interesting. This is a very interesting pastime, actually, and I remember reading it, but not so well. But you know, he's really exhibiting his role as a Kshatriya king, as a Kshatriya ruler, and he is prepared to kill a cow, to kill, you know, basically he's threatening Bhumi Devi. You know, I'm here to protect the citizens, so supply the food or suffer my wrath, kind of thing, you know. So it means someone who takes that role and position, they have to have courage and be willing to do the needful, you know, even though it may not appear to be right in certain ways, but he's understanding that no, it's well within his right as the king to do this. But it's interesting. Purport. The earth informed King Prithu that if he destroyed her, he and his subjects would fall down into the waters of the Garbha Ocean. King Prithu now replies to that point. Although the earth assumed the shape of a cow by her mystic powers in order to be saved from being killed by the king was aware of this fact and would not hesitate to cut her to pieces, just like small bits of grain. As far as the destruction of the citizens is concerned, Maharaj Prithu maintained that he could uphold everyone by his mystic powers. He did not need the help of the earthly planet. Being the incarnation of Lord Vishnu, Prithu Maharaj possessed the power of Sankarshan, which is explained by the scientists as the power of gravitation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is holding millions of planets in space without any support. Similarly, Prithu Maharaj would not have had any difficulty supporting all the citizens and himself in space without the help of the planet Earth. The Lord is known as Yogeshwara, master of all mystic powers. Consequently, the planet Earth was informed by the king that she need not worry about his standing without her help. Yeah, it's quite a bold statement. It basically says, don't threaten me. Like, you know, if I kill you, then everyone will fall into the Garbha Ocean. I am so potent that I can support them all without, you know, any trouble. I don't need you. But, you know, but we can have an interaction here and you can serve the citizens, but you need to produce grain, kind of thing. Yeah, it's an interesting point. So, any more thoughts from your side?
Well, it's interesting because, like you said, it's not that we haven't read this before, but the only thing I remember, if you say Prithu Maharaj, are the horse sacrifices.
Yeah, that's the main one that we focus on.
And it gives another view of Prithu Maharaj, of someone who's like humble and back down and very like a good innate character.
Yeah.
But when I read this, he comes across as quite, I don't know, like almost chivalrous but arrogant chivalrous.
Yeah,
like,
it's sort of an arrogance that
gives another slant on that character, you know, that person. So it's interesting to read this now, you know.
Well, this is before the 100 horse sacrifice, isn't it? Or have we already read that part?
No, we haven't read that part.
Yeah.
And when I read this and the way he speaks, I was thinking, was that because, you know, when
that was
Krishna,
also it did actually curb his pride also.
Pride, right? Because
Yeah.
Krishna, when he does something, it's like everyone gets
Everyone's
what
benefited.
they need, maybe not what they want, but. And so for sure that would have, because you get to that point 99 and you're like, what? You want me to back down and you're backing him?
Yeah.
So it's interesting for someone this proud, and I don't need the earth, I'll do what I need, you know. I'll take it. So that's interesting.
That's an interesting point. I really appreciate that, because it's true, it kind of puts it into a context. Often we take things a little bit out of isolation. And of course, Prabhupada doesn't mention that in any of the purports. I haven't heard that from any acharyas, but it seems like he's quite courageous and bold here, but definitely Vishnu curbs his pride in that pastime. Yeah, interesting point. Okay, shall we end here?
Okay.
All right. Thank you all very much. Keep tuning in, and remember to like,
Comment,
subscribe,
and share.
Yay! Haribol.
Haribol.